Yo, hey. So I wanted to touch on the reason why we should all be waiting till at least you're in love with someone before you fuck them. All right? Why is sex a bad thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't actually think it really is. I love it personally. I don't partake in it because I understand the risks of it, and I'm not talking about childbirth. I'm not talking about unwanted pregnancies. I'm not talking about STDs. I'm not talking about any of that shit. I'm talking about your mental well-being and your energetic levels. You see, the way the human brain works, we're not made equal, men and women. No, we're not. See, they get this beautiful thing, oxytocin, whenever they have an orgasm. Men? That doesn't pop for us. It pops at a different time. That time is when we commit. That's when we as men truly fall in love. So, why do we have this whole society of situationships? Why does it seem like relationships last maybe 1 to 3 months and then they mysteriously fall apart because you just suddenly woke up and you realize, the box was good, but this bitch crazy. Or it goes both ways. The girl could have been like kind of putting up with your ass if you're a guy. If for the ladies watching, has that ever happened to you? You just wake up one day and you're like, wow, I totally don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I am with this person. I don't even know him. We've just been enjoying ourselves. That's because of the oxytocin. It's the love chemical. It's the love drug. All right? And that's why this entire society, it's so obsessed with this idea of one night stands. It's a psyop, okay? Everything you're going to get from me is like conspiracy stuff, okay? But the reason that they've pushed it so much is because they know that it's addicting. Oxytocin is incredibly addicting. You think dopamine's addicting? And trying to quit a bad habit that only gives you dopamine? Try quitting having sex and being a sex addict. If you're a female, it is damn near impossible because of the oxytocin. Every single time you orgasm. So, what happens to these ladies that sleep around too much? Why is this a societal, cultural fucking issue? And where is it heading for all of us? Well, your ability to actually have a soul bond decreases. Because imagine the first time you ever saw pornography. All right, I'm just gonna take a stab that almost everybody's watched it before, or they understand what it's like to see that type of material before. Okay, when you were a little kid, you could just see, hard nipples, and that would get you going. All right, the more and more you give into it, the more and more you're gonna need to pleasure yourself. And eventually, you're not going to get anything out of it. No dopamine at all. It's just going to be anxiety, sadness, depression, a lack of just peace. There can't be peace. Because your brain is constantly looking for something that you basically have overloaded so much of it into the system that now it doesn't mean anything when you do get it. You're completely burnt out. You're tapped out. And if you don't believe me, think about this. Gym bros, all right? Because, we lift weights here on this channel. What happens if you take pre-workout for too long? All right? What happens if you eat too much food? Does the flavor start to decrease after you've eaten a lot? Go to a buffet and tell me that first bite isn't as good as the last. It's way better than the last bite. The last bite you have to force down. The last bite you're barely getting any dopamine from. Okay, same thing with that scoop of pre-workout. You start with one scoop, 100 milligrams of caffeine will get you. All right? That'll get you somewhere. But no, We end up going all the way balls deep. We're on 600 milligrams. Woo! Fuck yeah. Why not? Same thing with sex. Exact same thing with sex. So here's kind of what it looks like. Man and woman, you know, they get together. Man sticks his pee-pee in the woman's box. Okay? She orgasms. Oxytocin hits. She falls in love. Okay? That guy can get away with anything for about 3 months. That's what I think it is. Because this is from my experience, guys. I've had great relationships for about 3 months before. And then I've had longer ones. But the longer ones always was because I didn't have sex with them right away. I actually got to know their personality. I was interested in who they were as a person and the development. Whereas if you sleep with someone right away, I guarantee every time from then on out that you hang out, that's all you're going to do. That's all you're going to do. You're not going to get to know them as well as you probably should. You know that. I mean, we all know that, dude. You get some cheeks, that's all you want to do. But then you have to realize that after a while, what are you even doing there? What's the point? Like, are you there just to have sex, or are you there to find your eventual wife and the mother of your children? Do people even think about that anymore? I have no fucking clue, honestly, what a lot of people are thinking. You know, I think they want happiness, but it seems like the temporary pleasures are more important than the eternal happiness of love. But, I don't know, to each their own. I'm just saying, if you want to have a fruitful relationship, guys, at least, do me this and wait till you're dating. Wait till you can make a commitment as a man to the woman. That will trigger the love for you. This is why they said it in all the holy texts. They're like, hey, no sex outside of marriage. You know why they did that? Because back in the fucking day, there was no such thing as dating. Most of these marriages were set up. Or it would be like a father goes to the other father. He's like, oh yeah, you know, like we've been hanging out for a while. Your daughter's kind of cute. My son's about the same age. Maybe they should go fuck. It was weird, okay? But that's how it worked. There was a commitment, a lifelong commitment, and that would trigger love in the man, and then the sex with the woman at the same time as the commitment would trigger her oxytocin, love in her. And that would create the bond. Nowadays, there isn't a bonding. There isn't a fusion because those two things don't hit at the same time. If you want a fusion, the energy of love needs to smack each other from both parties at the exact same time. Otherwise, it will go into a state of entropy very quickly. I think you guys know this intuitively. You know. You're like, I probably shouldn't be doing this. And if you're like an attractive guy, which all of you guys are, if you're here, we're all working towards it, right? You're getting better. It's not just about physical looks, but attraction is your energy, your confidence, your ability to speak and, you know, share who you are with the world. All right? So that is above all else what I want to say is important. You got to wait. You got to wait a little bit. It doesn't need to be a long time, you know. If you find the right girl, you're basically dating within a week. Okay? The right girl, you're basically dating within a week. That's not a long time to wait. But to do it before there is any commitment by the man, believe me, it will hurt you in the long run. There is a reason there are so many situationships. There is a reason there are so many 3-month relationships. There is a reason divorces are over 50%. It's because people just get obsessed with lust. They get obsessed with the cheeks. And they don't want to give them up. But then they realize that the cheeks, that's all they're there for. They never fell in love with the person that the cheeks are attached to. That's a fucking problem. Everything is a waste of time if you're not actually enjoying the soul of the person that you're doing it with. Like, what are you doing? That's just self-pleasure. That's just masturbation at this point. You're just using somebody else to masturbate you. But you don't really care about that person. Think about how fucked up that is. It's kind of jacked. And I mean, I can speak on this shit because I used to do this. Alright? I used to fuck girls just for fun. Do you have any idea the ripple effect throughout society that does? It's terrible for us. It's awful. It's basically you treat women like pieces of meat, right? And then they get used to being treated like pieces of meat, and they think, oh, well, if I give it up right away, then maybe he'll stay. But we're conditioning our women to be the opposite of what we need them to be. We need them to say no, right? Ladies, you're the better ones, all right? Men are animals. We're kind of animals. We get all the shit done, okay? But we sometimes have a little bit of impulse control issue, all right? The testosterone hits and we just want to fucking, fuck a concrete wall. Put a hole in a wall with your dick. It is what it is. All right? We can't be doing that anymore, though. Guys, we got to start actually going on meaningful dates. Stop with this bullshit. If a girl comes up to you and says, oh, you need to spend X amount of money, tell her to hit the streets. That's where she belongs. She's for the streets. I'm not talking that we need to wait to sleep with girls that are already promiscuous and hoes. All right? Because hoes exist. I'm not judging them. But for myself and the guys that watch here, we don't do hoes. Okay? We don't do that. We don't do promiscuous women. You go after the woman that will make you wait because she wants to make sure that you're the right guy. And then you should wait till you're willing to make a commitment. If we start doing this as a society, dating will improve. We have to get away from this hookup culture. It is literally killing us. And when I say literally killing us, I mean eventually we're not going to have any families left. We're not going to have any actual parents together left raising children. Because you're going to have an entire society that's hedonistic, that just is obsessed with self-pleasure and never actually cares enough about the other person to be like, hey, I want to stay around and raise a kid with you. All right, guys? So work on yourself. Focus on your dreams. Get your ass to the gym. Get outside. Do your grounding. Drink your fucking water. Eat clean. Meditate today. Maybe read a book. Clean your fucking house. Do anything that is progress. All right? And it doesn't have to be that hard. If you really don't know what to do, get a piece of paper and just say, God takes my aim so that I may lay shots down range. All right? Write that one in. Then I want you to think about it. Just think about it for a second. What does that even mean? Sometimes it means that the direction that you're going in your life, you have no fucking clue. Okay? That's okay. It's not your job to know. You didn't pick to be here. Well, I mean, maybe you did. But in the grand scheme of things, if you believe in all the other stuff that, I've said before in some of the spiritual community, then your highest purpose, it's with him. And if you want to talk with him, you got to stop focusing on this other worldly bullshit, all right? Focus on yourself, and the ladies will come to you. And the ladies that come to you when you focus on yourself are going to be the ones that are actually wanting to make a commitment and a long-term relationship, okay? So let's start dealing with our dating problems. Let's start actually being more... You don't have to do what I'm doing with the whole celibacy thing, guys. But please, please, please try and fall in love with the girl before you bust them juicy wet walls down. Thank you.